Pope Tagle's Blessed Ascension, the defining moment for the first Filipino Pope. The atmosphere in the Vatican on that fateful day was filled with anticipation, an energy that electrified the air. The ancient city of Rome, with its timeless beauty, stood as a silent witness to an event that would change the course of history. As the sun bathed St. Peter's Square in warm light, people gathered, eagerly awaiting news that would shape the future of the Catholic Church. From the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, a plume of white smoke billowed into the sky, signaling to the world that a new pope had been chosen. This symbol, simple yet profound, marked a moment of immense significance for Catholics worldwide. For millions of people, the sight of the white smoke rising above the Vatican was more than just a visual signal. It was a message of hope, unity, and continuity. The conclave of cardinals had reached their decision after days of deliberation and prayer. It wasn't just a matter of selecting a new leader. They had chosen the shepherd of over 1 billion souls. The decision was a reflection of the immense responsibility that came with the papacy. But on that day, the world would not just see a new pope. They would see a new chapter unfolding for the Church. As the cheers erupted in St. Peter's Square, the magnitude of the moment was felt far and wide. People from all over the world celebrated this event, their voices rising in a chorus of joy and gratitude. This was not just about the election of a new pope. It was a reaffirmation of faith, a collective moment where people of all nations came together to mark a new era. The election of Pope Luis Antonio Tagle as the 266th Pope of the Catholic Church was a cause for pride, especially for the people of the Philippines. It was a moment where the Philippines, a nation known for its deep Catholic faith, could hold its head high. For them, this was a national celebration, a moment of spiritual and cultural pride. The bells of St. Peter's Basilica rang out, their joyous song echoing across the ancient city of Rome, while millions of Catholics across the world paused in their lives to hear the sound. The bells carried a message of hope and renewal, reminding the faithful of the continuity of the Church's mission. The waiting crowd, their eyes fixed on the balcony, eagerly awaited the first appearance of the new pope. What would his first words be? What guidance would he offer the world? The world stood still for that moment, waiting for the crimson curtains to part and reveal the man who would now lead the Catholic Church. As the curtains parted and Pope Luis Antonio Tagle emerged onto the balcony, the world was greeted with the sight of a humble man who carried with him the hopes and dreams of millions. Pope Tagle's journey to this moment had not been easy, but it had been one defined by faith, service, and unwavering commitment to his calling. Born in 1957 in Manila, Tagle was a man who had earned the respect of Catholics worldwide through his humility, infectious smile, and tireless efforts for social justice. Growing up in the Philippines, Tagle was shaped by a deep sense of empathy and compassion that came from his devout Catholic family. His parents encouraged him to embrace his faith with an open heart and to pursue a life of service to others. This early foundation of faith would guide him throughout his ministry. As a young priest, Tagle displayed a natural gift for connecting with people, whether they were parishioners in a small village or global leaders at an international forum. He had a way of speaking that resonated deeply with people from all walks of life, breaking down barriers and building bridges through his understanding of faith and his compassion for others. Tagle's commitment to social justice became one of the defining aspects of his ministry. He was an outspoken advocate for the poor and marginalized, using his position to amplify the voices of those who had long been overlooked. He understood that the Church's mission wasn't just to tend to the spiritual needs of the faithful, but also to respond to their material needs. Whether through charity events, community outreach programs, or his tireless advocacy for the less fortunate, Tagle's actions spoke louder than words. His elevation to cardinal was a recognition of his tireless work, his deep understanding of the Church's mission, and his unwavering commitment to the gospel. As a cardinal, he continued to advocate for the poor and the marginalized, using his position to serve as their voice in the highest echelons of the Church. His deep love for the gospel and his commitment to social justice made him a respected figure not just in the Philippines, but across the global Catholic community. When he was chosen as Pope, the Church was not only gaining a leader, it was gaining a man who was dedicated to serving the people, a shepherd who would guide the faithful with love, humility, and compassion. Inside St. Peter's Basilica, as the ceremony for his papal inauguration began, the air was thick with anticipation. Cardinal Tagle, clad in simple white vestments, slowly walked toward the papal altar. His face, a picture of humility and purpose, was a reflection of the immense weight he was about to bear. As he knelt in prayer, seeking guidance for the path ahead, the significance of the moment was not lost on anyone present. The laying on of hands by the cardinals was a powerful act, symbolizing the transfer of spiritual authority and the continuity of apostolic succession. This ancient ritual was not just a ceremonial act, it was a profound reminder of the unbroken chain of leadership that had been passed down through the centuries. The laying on of hands carried with it the weight of centuries of faith, devotion, and leadership. Each cardinal who approached Pope Tagle did so with a sense of reverence and respect for the legacy he was about to carry forward. The Church, through this act, was entrusting Pope Tagle with the sacred duty of guiding the faithful. This moment was more than just a formality, it was a powerful reminder of the unity of the Church, of the bond that connected all the faithful across the world. As the last cardinal stepped back, a wave of emotion swept through the basilica. The faithful, their faces filled with awe and reverence, watched as Pope Tagle rose to accept his new responsibility. The sound of whispered prayers and blessings filled the air, and the weight of the moment was felt by everyone present. This was not just a papal inauguration, it was the beginning of a new era for the Catholic Church. The anointing with holy oil or chrism was the final act of the papal inauguration. This fragrant oil, a blend of olive oil and balsam, symbolized the divine gifts of wisdom, understanding, counsel, fortitude, knowledge, piety, and fear of the Lord. As the oil was placed on Pope Tagle's forehead, there was a sense of grace and divine strength flowing through him. In that moment, the weight of the world, the hopes and anxieties of the faithful, seemed to settle upon him. But there was also a tangible sense of divine guidance, a reminder that Pope Tagle was not alone in this journey. With the anointing complete, Pope Tagle stood before the world as the 266th Pope of the Catholic Church. His journey from the streets of Manila to the papal throne had been one of faith, humility, and service. Now as Pope, he was ready to lead the Church into a new era, one marked by unity, compassion, and a deep commitment to the teachings of Christ. His leadership would be defined by a vision of inclusivity and a relentless pursuit of justice, a vision that would inspire millions around the world. For the Filipino people, this moment was particularly special. It was not just a religious event, it was a moment of national pride. Pope Tagle, a son of their land, had ascended to one of the highest offices in the Catholic Church. For them, this was a recognition of their deep faith and devotion, a moment when their beloved country was seen and honored on the global stage. The world watched as Pope Tagle, now Pope Leo X, took his place as the leader of over 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide. His first words as Pope would be crucial, offering hope and guidance to the faithful at a time when the Church faced numerous challenges. Yet, in that moment, there was no doubt that Pope Tagle was ready. His journey had prepared him for this very moment, and he stood ready to lead the Church with love, humility, and a steadfast commitment to justice.